Welcome to next session. In this session, we will solve GATE 2017 XC thermal equation. Okay. Given that d pi f function of t dt plus t by v dv add d psi t dt plus t by p square dv, then both phi and psi are properties. B neither pi nor psi is a property. C pi is a property but psi is not a property. D psi is a property but pi is not a property. Okay. Now we know that for z to be property and is represented by equation dz m dx and dy, this condition should be satisfied. Curly m by curly m by curly by when x is constant, and curly m by curly x when y is constant. This has to be satisfied. Okay. Now in the first case, z is your pi. Okay, and m is your f p. Okay, and your this y is your b. Okay, and similarly n is your t by v. Okay, and v and this x is your t. Okay, so this is these are not equal. Okay, function of t can be anything. Okay, so it can have any expression. So pi is not a property. Okay, in the second case, where d psi is equal to t dt and plus t by p square dv, m is your t and v is your sorry y is your t by sorry y is your v and p constant. Okay, now and so and here n is your t by p square and its differentiation with respect to p, and when your b is constant. Okay, so this is also not satisfied. Okay, it gives different result. Okay, so pi is also not a property, so both uh, answer is A. So option A is the right answer. Sorry, option B is right answer. Neither pi or nor psi is property. Okay, both are not property. Next, a paddle wheel is installed in a rigid insulated tank containing 10 kg air. CV is equal to 0.718 kJ per kilogram per Kelvin. A torque of 100 Newton meter is applied on the paddle wheel to rotate it at 60 revolutions per minute for 2 minutes. At the end of the process, the increase in temperature of the air is option A 0, option B 5.25, option C 10.5, option D 21.5. Okay, so here a torque has been applied. That torque is 100 Newton meters. Okay, and your applied and omega is your 60 revolution per minute. Okay, or n is your 60 rpm. Okay, and it is torque is applied for 2 minutes. Okay, so the work done is t omega. Okay, or 2 pi nt 2 pi work done is t omega or the work done per second is t omega, or if we multiply it by time, then we get the work done in 2 minutes. Okay, so it will be 2 pi nt into time. Okay, so 2 pi into 60 into 100. Okay, into 2, that is the work done by the paddle wheel. Okay, so now we have the work done. Okay, now this work will increase the internal energy of the tank because it is it is insulated because it is heat is not being transferred from the tank. Okay, or neither it is so because it is insulated, so that's why the internal energy of the substance, or that is air, will increase. Okay, so this is the work done. Okay, so and this is the increase in internal energy. Okay, as work. Okay, so this is the energy input, and this is the increase in energy of the system. Okay, or we can apply the first law as dq is equal to dw plus du, and dw taking dw as negative because work is done on the system, and then we can find out the change in internal energy. Then find out final temperature. But here we have considered that the work supplied uh, to the system will increase internal energy because no other energy transfer takes place. Okay, so here Tf minus Ti will be this just by here M is your mass is 10 kg and Cv is your 0.718. Okay, so Tf minus Ti is your 10.5 degree Celsius. Okay, so option C is the right answer. Next, consider two systems each containing 20 kg of air at the same temperature and pressure. It is desired to increase the temperature of air in both systems by 10 degrees Celsius. One system undergoes constant pressure heat addition process and the other undergoes a constant volume heat addition process. The difference in the values of heat transferred to the two systems in kilojoule is here mass is 20 kg, okay, and it is desired to increase the temperature of the air in both the system by 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, now it is desired to increase the temperature by 10 degrees Celsius. One method is by constant pressure, another method is by constant volume. Okay, now the air is a substance. Okay, so Cp and Cv is known for air. Okay, so the heat addition at constant pressure is MCP. Temperature difference and heat addition at constant volume is MCV Tf minus Ti. Okay, so the difference will be this. The difference of these two, we have to calculate the difference in the value of the transfer. Difference will be Q1 minus Q2, MCP minus CV, Tf minus Ti. Okay, and Tf minus Ti is your 10 degrees Celsius, M is your 20, and Cp minus Cv is your R. R for air is 0.287 kilojoule per kilogram per degree Kelvin. Okay, so putting the values 20, 0.287 and 10, we have 57.4 kilojoule of heat difference. Okay, or the answer is your C, option C. Okay, next. A refrigerator is used to maintain certain space at 10 degrees Celsius. It pumps 18,000 kilojoules per hour of heat from the space to the atmosphere at 30 degrees Celsius. If the power input to the refrigerator is 2 kilowatt, the ratio of COP of this refrigerator to a Carnot refrigerator up to 2 decimal places is here the refrigerator is maintained at 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, so minimum temperature is your 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, and it pumps this 18,000 kilojoule per hour of heat from the space. Okay, so the Q2 is your refrigerating effect is your 18,000 kilojoule per hour, or we can convert into second by dividing with 30 and 600. Okay, so if the power input of the refrigerator is 2 kilowatt and the power input is by or work done is 2 kilowatt, the ratio of COP of the refrigerator to the Carnot refrigerator. Okay. Now the Carnot refrigerator is the shape of the Carnot refrigerator is nothing but minimum temperature divided by temperature difference. So it is 273 plus 10. Okay. Divided by temperature difference 30 minus 10, that is 20. Okay. So it is 14.15 COP of Carnot cycle. And COP of this actual cycle is your refrigerating effect divided by work done and our pump work. So it is refrigerating effect is 18,000 by 3600, that is kilojoule per second, and pump work is your 2. So it is 2.5. Okay, now we have to find out the ratio of the COP to the of this refrigerator to the Carnot refrigerator. So this is 2.5 and this is 14.15. So answer is your 2.5 by 14.5, that is 0.1766. Okay. Next, a thermal cycle receives 2000 kilojoule of heat from a heat source at 1000 Kelvin. It rejects 300 kilojoule of heat to a heat sink at 300 Kelvin and also rejects 250 kilojoule of heat to another heat sink at uh, 200 Kelvin. During the cycle, okay. Now you have to tell that the cycle is reversible, the irreversible, the impossible, the work observing. For the cycle to be reversible, the cyclic dq by t should be zero. Okay, or now we find out the cyclic dq by t. Okay, here the heat is taken from the source. Okay, that is 2000. Okay, and it is rejecting the heat at two sources. The heat rejection is 300 and 250 at 300 and 200 Kelvin. Okay, and heat addition is 200, the 2000 at 100 Kelvin. Okay, so using this, we find out this cyclic dq. Okay, so it comes out as 2000 by 100 by 1000, 300 by 300, 250 by 200. Okay, it comes out at minus 0.25. Okay, so cyclic dq is negative. So it is reversible. When cyclic dq is positive, then it is impossible. Okay, and when it is zero, so cycle is your reversible. Okay, now the difference in work is, or difference in heat input and heat output is Q1 minus Q2 minus Q2. So this is 2000 minus 300 minus 250. That is this amount of work we are getting. Okay, so it is not work absorbing. Okay, so it is a irreversible cycle. So del Q by del T is not zero. It is coming out as negative. Okay, if it comes out as negative, then the cycle is irreversible. Okay, okay. So this is your right option is yes, B option. So the reverse one. Next, saturated liquid water is slowly heated at a constant pressure of 200 kPa to a final state where its quality reaches 0.65. For water at 200 kPa, the T-saturated 120.23 degrees Celsius, HF is equal to 504.68 kilojoule per kilogram, Hg is equal to 2706.60 kilojoule per kilogram. The change in specific entropy in kilojoule per kilogram per degree Kelvin is here the the water is slowly heated at constant pressure of this to a final state of where the quality is 0.65. Okay. Now T saturated this, HF is this. Okay. Now initially the water is saturated. Okay. So enthalpy is corresponding to Hg, that is 2706. Now finally it is the balance factor is 0.65. Okay. So it is at 50.68. 0.65 to 706.6 minus 504.68. Okay, so this is your final enthalpy, this is your initial enthalpy. Okay, so H1 minus H2 is your change in enthalpy. Now you have to find out the entropy. Okay, because the water is being evaporated and evaporation takes place at constant temperature, and this is the heat rejection. Okay, so because final entropy is less than initial entropy. Okay, so sorry. Actually, so sorry. The water is at initially liquid water. Okay, so we will have to take this H1. Okay, so the final entropy is more than uh, final entropy is more than initial entropy. Okay, so it means heat is being added. Okay, so it is slowly heated. Okay, So this the heat addition is given by the difference of these two. Okay, so difference of these two is nothing but 1431.248. Okay, and the temperature is given 120.23. Okay, or in degree Kelvin it is 120.23 plus 273. Okay, the entropy is nothing but change in enthalpy when the temperature is constant divided by temperature. Okay, so this is your 3.639 or 3.64 option B. So let us check it again. So the saturated liquid water is slowly heated. Okay, so that is as initially there is saturated liquid water. So enthalpy of water is your HF, that is 504.68. Now it is at 0.65. So this is we are quite 65 Diner fraction. Okay, so this from this we can get the final enthalpy. Okay, 2706 minus 504.68. Okay, okay. So this is the final enthalpy. This is initial enthalpy. So the test between the two is change in enthalpy. Change in enthalpy divided by change in enthalpy divided by saturation temperature is your this change in enthalpy is your saturation temperature. Okay, so this is your 3.64 is your entropy. Okay, so option D is next. Given the thermodynamic functional relationship P is equal to P function of V and T, and T is equal to function of P and V, the term curly P by curly V T constant into curly V by curly T P constant is equal to, so thermodynamic functional relationship. Okay, and we know that for the mathematical relationship, that is curly x by curly y, z constant, curly z by curly x, y constant, curly by curly y by curly z, x constant. Okay, x continuous and y. Okay, it should be equal to -1. Okay, so here using for any these are x, y, z have properties. Okay, so taking x is equal to p and y is equal to v and z is equal to t. Okay, so we have this. Okay, curly p by y is v. Okay, z is your t. Z is your t. Curly p by curly x is your t. Okay, and v equal to and curly v by y is your v. Curly by curly z is your t. Okay, so this is it comes to -1. Okay, so curly p by curly v into curly v by curly t. P is equal to curly p by, so inverse of this. Okay, curly p by curly t. So answer is your option A. Okay, next, to close cycles, gas turbine engine A and B operate on air standard Brayton cycle with efficiencies psi A and psi B respectively. If they operate between the same maximum and minimum temperature but with the different pressure ratio RPA and RPB, with RPA greater than RPB, then the efficiency of Brayton cycle is given by this 1 minus RP gamma minus 1 by gamma. Okay. So, um, as RPA is greater than RPB, okay, uh, the efficiency and RP is in minus and 1 by RP. Okay, so it will, as we increase RP, okay, the efficiency will increase, and it will go on with increasing RP. Okay, so there is no maximum point. Okay, so answer will be your, if RP of A is greater than RP of B, then it is answer is B. Okay, but in case of data cycle, the optimum work done occurs, maximum work done occurs at R optimum. That is given by T max by T max minimum or gamma by 2 gamma. Okay, so So, but the efficiency always increases with the increase in RP. Okay, so answer is your B option. Okay, next, the value of density and isentropic compressibility of water at a certain pressure and temperature are given as 100 kilogram per meter cube and 40 into 10 to the power minus 10 Pascal per second per Pascal. Okay, density and isentropic compressibility. Okay, this is density, this is isentropic compressibility. The speed at which the sound travels in water under these conditions is equal to is meter per second is equal to the isentropic compressibility is given by minus 1 by v curly v by curly v at constant entropy, and that is and its value is given as 14 to 10 power minus 10 Pascal. Okay. Now your v is volume, okay, and and we know that v is specific volume, okay, and we know that specific volume is equal to 1 by v density. Okay. Now change in volume. Now we have to find out curly v by curly v. Okay. This is change in volume by volume. Okay. Will be equal to change in density by density. Okay. So it will be equal to this. Okay. Or this. Solving it further. Okay. Now change in density as change in density is very small. Okay. So change in density is very small. Okay. Or we can say that the product of these two quantity is very will be equal to approximately rho. Okay, so we can take it as rho. Okay, so we can say that v1 minus v2 is equal by v is equal to rho 2 by minus rho 1 by rho. Okay, so this is the relationship. Okay, now dv by v is your v, and we can say this. Okay, so this is changing, and 0 by rho is rho. Okay, minus rho, because here it is rho 2 minus rho 1, and here it is v1 minus v2, which is minus 0 by rho. Okay, so ks is now putting this value dv by v as d rho by rho. Here minus dv curly v by curly v is your curly rho by curly rho, sorry, rho by dv. Okay, so that value is your 4 into 10 power minus 10. Okay, and this rho is your nothing but 1000. Okay, okay, this is 1000 because it is approximately same. Okay, so this is 1000. So finding out curly p dp by d rho at entropy constant, and velocity of sound is when isentropic process is considered is nothing but root of this. Okay, so answer will be your 500 meter per second. Okay, next question, 2 marks question. The length of a certain metal rod at 0 degrees Celsius is 10 centimeters. The coefficient of linear expansion of that metal varies with temperature as 10 to the power minus 4 plus 10 to the power minus 5 into T centimeter per centimeter per degree Celsius. When the length of the metal rod is 10.2 centimeters, the rise in temperature in degrees Celsius is the length of the metal rod is just 100 centimeters. Okay, sorry, at 0 degree 100 centimeters. Okay, now it is given that the coefficient of linear expansion of the metal varies with temperature. Now alpha is varying like this. Okay, when the length of uh, the coefficient of linear expansion, okay, when the length of the metal rod is 10% the rise in temperature. The coefficient of linear expansion of that metal varies with temperature. And let dT be the small increase in temperature, and then the expansion takes place like this. Okay. Let at a small change in temperature. Let dt is a small change in temperature at which the expansion of dx takes place. Okay, so this is dx at dt. Okay, then the strain is dx by x. Okay, and the strain is given by as alpha dt. Okay, that is alpha, and that is dt. Okay, so this is strain. This is also strain. Okay, now, x is initially x is 10 centimeter and finally it is 10.2. So integrating and temperature is varying from 0 degree Celsius, and we have to find out the final temperature. Net temperature is related to T. Okay. Now this expression is in Celsius, so we need not to change the zero. Okay. So we'll keep it in Celsius. Okay. So this is your ln x. Okay, putting a limit 10/2/10, and here your integration will be 10 to the power minus 4t minus 10 to the power minus 5 t square by 2. So putting limit, okay, we can get this 10 to the power minus 4 common, and here t plus t square by 20. Okay, so from this we can solve this and find out temperature. The temperature comes out as 53.718 degrees Celsius. Okay, next. In a polytropic compression process, 1 kilogram of an ideal gas having a molecular weight of 40 kilogram per kilomole is compressed from 100 kPa 300 Kelvin to 400 kPa 360 Kelvin. The magnitude of work done in kilojoule for the process is here. Initial pressure is 100 kPa. Initial final pressure is 400 kPa. Initial temperature is 300 Kelvin. Final temperature is 400 Kelvin. So the ratio of the pressure P2 by P1. Finally the polytropic exponent constant. Okay. So let N be the polytropic constant. Okay. So P2 by P1 is equal to P2 by P1 n minus n by n minus 1. Okay. Now finding n, taking ln. Okay. ln 4 n by n minus 1 ln 360 by 300. Okay, so from this we can find it, and is your 1.7, no, 1.152. Now you have to find out the work done. So work done is nothing but MRT2 minus MRT1 by minus. Okay. R is your, as molecular weight is your 40. Okay, and R, so we can find out R is Rg by 40. Okay, so this is 0.2075 kilojoules per kilogram. So R is your gas quantity. Now work done is your nothing but this quantity. If putting a value of R, we have T2, we have T1, we have mass. Mass is or we can put P1 V1 VMR. Mass is your mass is your 1 kg. Okay, so M is 1. So this is so from this we get minus 82.0460 kilojoule, or the answer is your D answer. Okay, 90 kilometers. Next, two stream of air CP 1005 joules per kilogram per day Kelvin flow through insulated pipes 1 and 2 with the condition as shown in figure. They mix in an insulated pipe 3 and the mixture steadily exits with a velocity of 10 meters per second at 150 kPa, neglecting the change in potential energy in all the pipes. The exit area of the pipe 3 in meter square up to 3 decimal places. So this is your mass entering in pipe 1, and this is mass entering in pipe 2. Okay, and they are getting mixed, and final temperature, final pressure, and final velocity they bring. initial temperature and initial velocities are okay like this are given. Now you have to calculate the exit area. This area you have to find. Okay. Now uh, the mass entering in the pipe one has this temperature energy or heat energy, and with the velocity it is having kinetic energy. Okay. Similarly, the mass entering in this is will have this heat energy and this kinetic energy due to this. Okay. And mass leaving uh, will have some energy. Okay. We'll find out that, and the total mass leaving will be that mass is, I think mass entering is 1 kg plus 3 kg. Okay. So energy of energy at 1 is mCpt1 plus m1 v1 square by 2, and energy at 2 is m2 cpt2 and m2 v2 square by 2. Okay. So this is the total energy. Okay. That is entry, and it should be equal to total energy that is leaving. So this is m1 plus m2. Total mass is 134. Okay. CP is your CP is same for both the masses. There is this is AF. Okay, so CP will cancel out. CP is 10. You can take CP as 100,548. Okay, and velocity at 3 is just 100 meter per second. Okay, so we can find out this temperature. All the things are known, so we can find out T3. Okay, so once T3 is found, we can find out mass. Okay, using P3V3 and P relationship. Now P3 is your 150 into 10 power 3, and this is V3. So M3 is your 4, R is 27, and T is your 495.67. Okay. Now V3 is your volume leaving per second. Okay. Now by using this relationship, we can find out V3, and V3 is nothing but area into velocity. So, and velocity is known. Velocity is your 100 meter per second. Okay. So now we have this area is V3 by velocity. So this is V3. Okay. 3.79.35 meter cube per second, and this is the volume, and velocity is 100. So area is your 0.037935 meters cube. Okay. Just you have to balance the energy of this, uh, sorry, combine the energy of this and equate the energy of this. Okay, so this is the basic idea in this question. Next, 1 meter cube rigid vessel contains air at 200 kPa. A vacuum pump is connected to the vessel in order to control the pressure inside. The volume flow of air through the pump is maintained at a constant value of 0.1 meter cube per second. Okay, if the pump operates for 10 seconds, the temperature of the air maintained constant during the operation. The pressure in the tank in kPa after 10 seconds is now given that the volume of the rigid vessel is 1 meter cube. Okay, and pressure inside the vessel is 200 kPa. Okay. Now a vacuum pump is used to control the pressure. Okay, and the volume flow rate through the pump is maintained at volume flow rate is 0.1 meter cube per second. Okay, the pump operates. Now this pump is this pump operates for 10 seconds. The temperature of the air maintained constant during the operation. The pressure in the tank in kPa after 10 seconds. Okay, let m be the mass of the air in the tank at an instant. Okay, and volume is your 1 meter cube. Okay, at an instant the mass is m. Okay, volume will remain constant, and rho be the density. Okay, now as the pumping of 0.1 meter cube per second of air is taking place. Okay, so the mass is also decreasing. Okay, but the density of air is constant. Okay, so change in mass per unit time is equal to rho into dV by dt. Okay, and dV by dt is nothing but that volume flow at point 1. Okay, so this is point 1 and rho is density. Okay, so the change in mass per second is point 1 into rho. Okay, and your rho is m by v. Okay, rho because v is constant, that is rigid vessel. Okay, m is mass at any instant. Okay, so your rho is m by v. So it will dm by dt is equal to point 1 m. Okay, point 1 m. Okay, so as the volume is as the as the pump is taking the air out, so its volume is decreasing. Okay, so sign here should be negative. Okay, so dm by dt is minus point 0.1 m. Okay, so taking the separating the variable dm by m is equal to minus point 0.1 dt, integrating within limit, so it will be ln n2 by m1 point 1 t. Okay, so so after 10 seconds, the limit is 10 seconds. Okay, after 10 seconds, we have m2 by m1 is equal to this. We're taking sorry, eliminating row. Okay, so this is m2 by m1 is 0.3678. Okay, now using p by rt relationship, p2 by v by rt, p1 by rt. Okay, it will be 0.3678. Okay, temperature is constant, rt, t is constant, sorry, r is constant, v is constant because it is volume of the rigid vessel. So p2 by v1 is this. So initial pressure is your 200. Okay, and the final pressure will be 73.57 kPa. Okay, so let us read it again. Okay, let us try to understand it again. Okay, a rigid vessel is of 1 meter cube, and initially it is at a pressure of 200 kPa. Okay, and a pump is extracting air at the rate of 0.1 meter cube per second in terms of volume. Okay, so as the pump is extracting air, so its mass will decrease. Okay, and mass is nothing but mass is nothing but rho into volume. Okay, so differentiating with respect to t, we will have df by dt equal to rho dv by dt. So dv by dt is your rate of volume flow. So it is zero point 0.1. Okay, it is zero point 0.1. Okay, now putting rho is equal to m by v. Okay, v is your constant. It is volume of tank 1 meter cube. So rho is your m by v. Now we have the equation in terms of m, because as the mass is as the volume is decreasing, as the volume of air is going out, so we can take the minus sign. Okay, so dm is equal to minus zero point 0.1 m dt. Okay, so dm by m is minus zero point 0.1 dt. Integrating, we will have ln m2 by mn minus zero point 0.1 t. Okay, now putting the limits, we have m2 by m1. So after 10 seconds, we will have this 10. Okay, now we will have m2 by m1 as 0.3678. So P2V by RT divided by P1V by RT is 0.3678. Okay, so M2 is with this 20, M1 is this 20. So eliminating all this, we will have P2 by P1 is equal to 0.3678. Okay. So P2 is your 200 into 0.3678. So P2 is your 73.57 kPa. Okay. Next, a heat engine receives Q1 kilojoule of heat from hot reservoir and rejects Q2 kilojoule of heat to the cold reservoir. The work delivered by the heat engine supplied to the pump, which receives 2-3 kilojoule of heat from another reservoir and rejects Q4 kilojoule of heat to the same cold reservoir. If efficiency of the heat engine is 0.4 and COP of the pump is 4, the value of Q2 plus Q4 divided by Q1 up to one decimal place is here the engine receives heat at Q1. Okay, this is the engine and it is receiving heat Q1 from 4 reservoir and it rejects and it is rejecting Q2. Okay, this is Q2. Okay, and the work delivered by the heat engine supplied to the pump. So the work done is Q1 minus Q2 and it is supplied to the pump. Okay, supplied to the pump which receives Q3 kilojoule of heat from another reservoir and Q4 heat and it is receiving heat from another reservoir and rejecting Q4 heat to the same reservoir, so same cold reservoir. Okay. If the efficiency of the engine is zero point 0.4, if this efficiency of this engine is zero point 0.4, okay, this and COP of this pump is your 4, then we have to find out this ratio. The value Q2 by Q2 plus Q4 by Q. Okay. So engine, the work done by engine is Q1 minus Q2 and work done by pump is your Q3 minus Q4. Okay. And uh, whole of the work has been supplied to this pump. So this work done should be equal to Q1 minus Q2 should be equal to Q1 minus Q2 or we can say Q4 plus Q2 is equal to Q1 plus Q3. Okay. Now dividing both by Q1 because we have to find out this quantity Q2 plus Q4 by Q1. Okay. Dividing we will get Q4 plus Q2 by Q1 plus 1 plus Q3 by Q1. Okay. Now efficiency of the engine is work done divided by heat split. So that is Q1 minus Q2 divided by Q1. So it is zero point 0.4. Okay. And COP is your COP is your COP of the pump. COP of the pump is your heating effect divided by work done. Okay. Q4 by Q4 minus Q3 is equal to 4. Okay. Now if we subtract minus 1 both sides, okay, here it will be 3 and here it will be Q4 minus Q4 plus Q3 by Q4 minus Q3 and Q4 we can now it will be now Q3 by Q4 minus Q3 is equal to 3. Okay. Now efficiency of heat engine is your now we have the efficiency of your heat engine is 3. Okay. Sorry, 3. Okay. Sorry, efficiency of the efficiency is zero point 0.4. Okay. And this ratio is Q3 by Q4 minus Q3 is your 3. Okay. So multiplying these two, then we will have this efficiency as Q1 minus Q2 by Q1 and this ratio is Q3 by Q4 minus Q3. Okay. It will be equal to 3 into 0.4, 1.2. Okay. Now Q1 minus Q2 is this one done and Q3 minus Q4 is this was the work received by pump. Okay. So we can cancel these out because these are equal. So so only thing left is Q3 by Q1 that is 1.2. Now we have this uh, Q4 by Q2 is equal to by Q1 1 plus Q3 plus Q1. Now we have Q3 by Q1. So Q4 by Q2 by Q1 will be 1 plus 1.2. Okay, this equal to 1 plus equal. Okay, next. A block of ice of mass 2 kg at 0 degree Celsius is dropped into an insulated vessel containing 10 kg of liquid water at 25 degrees Celsius. The latent heat of melting of ice is 330 kilojoules per kilogram. and the specific heat of water is 4.2 kilojoule per kilogram per degree Kelvin. The change in entropy of the universe in kilojoule per Kelvin up to 3 decimal basically. Here the heat latent heat of melting of ice is 3 decimal. Okay, and specific heat of water is okay. Now now they are mixed. Okay, ice is dropped into water. Okay. So the heat lost by the ice, okay, sorry, heat gained by the ice will be equal to heat lost by water, okay, but the heat gained by the ice will be equal to latent heat plus sensible heat, and heat lost by water will be only sensible heat, okay. Okay, let T be the temperature after mixing, okay. Okay, let the whole of the ice get melted. Okay, so and converted into water. So and temperature same is T. Okay, so it is a little bit here 330. Okay, 330 into mass is 2. Okay, and the final temperature T, and then the sensibility is 2 into 4.2 into T minus 0 because it is 0 degree Celsius, and sensible heat lost by water 10 into 4.2 25 minus T. Okay, 25 minus T. So putting these values, we can find out P. Okay. So let is so this is a 7.738 degrees Celsius, or it is 280.738 Kelvin. Okay. Now heat is lost by the water, so its entropy will decrease, and heat is gained by the block, and its entropy will increase. Okay. Now entropy gained by the block is this latent heat divided by your temperature, melting temperature, that melting temperature is 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin, plus the entropy gained due to sensible heating, that is up to temperature T. T temperature is 280.738. Okay, and your initially water is at initially ice is at 273. Okay, so the entropy gained by the block will be this. Okay, and the initial temperature of the water is 298. Okay, and final temperature is 280. So the entropy will be lost by the water, so it will be a sensible process, sensible heating process, sorry, sensible cooling process. Okay, no latent heat is involved, so it is, will take only this part. So 10 into 4.2 ln 20.738 298. So the change in entropy will be 0.1453 kilojoule per degree. Then a pure substance Cv is equal to 0.733 kilojoule per kilogram undergoes a reversible process in which its temperature increases linearly from 40 degrees Celsius to 85 degrees Celsius. Its specific entropy increases by 600 joules per kilogram per degree Kelvin. The work done by a system in kilojoules per kilogram is, so Cv is here 0.733, okay, pure substance. Okay, and its temperature will increase in between 40 to 85 degrees Celsius. And specific entropy is 600 joules per kilogram per degree. Okay. The work done by the system in kilojoules is, okay. Now, as the temperature increases linearly from 40 to, okay, undergoing reversible increases the work done. Now, we know that entropy increases undergoing reversible in which the temperature increases linearly from 40 to, uh, now the entropy increases by 600 linearly, okay, with temperature. Okay, this. So uh, we know that the dq is directly proportional to x dt. Okay, let x be the factor by which temperature increases. Okay, and now if we we know that if it is a constant volume process, x will be Cv, and if it is a constant pressure process, then x will be Cp. So, dq is going to be given by this x dt. Okay. So if we divide it by dt, then it will be dq by t, and it will be x dt by t. Okay. Now integrating this, because it is a reversible process, so it is entropy, and it will be x ln and t2 by t1. Okay. So T2 is your 85 and T1 is your 40. Putting these values, you can get X. So X is your 4466.61 joule per kilogram. Okay. So this is the factor by which the heat addition is changing. Okay. So the using first law of thermodynamics, that is del Q plus del Q is equal to del U plus del U. We have this factor as CP or CV or something, some other factor, because in this process it is the factor. Okay. So this is your X change in temperature. Okay. So this is heat supplied, and your CV is your value. Oh, sorry, value is your CVDT. So CV is your 0.733 or 733, 55 minus 40. So from this we can get work done. Work done is your 168012 use on 168.012 kilojoule. Option C is the right answer. Next, an ideal gas having a mass of zero point 0.5 kg is initially at 300 kPa, 80 degrees Celsius, and occupies a volume of 0.14 meter cube. The gas undergoes an adiabatic process where 50 kilojoule of work is transferred to the gas. The pressure and volume at the final state are 300 kPa and zero point 0.2 meter cube. The change in entropy of the gas in joule per Kelvin is, as R is your the pressure and temperature of the final gas. Then as volume is your 0.14, okay, and pressure is your 300, okay, temperature is 80 degrees Celsius, mass is 0.5, we can find out R, okay, and the gas undergoes adiabatic process. Okay. So adiabatic process, the gas undergoes 50 kg of work is transferred to the gas. Okay, now using P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. So final volume is your 0.2 and final pressure is 300. Okay. From this we can find out temperature. Now using first law, we have this dq is equal to dw plus du. As the process is adiabatic, so no heat is being transferred, so du is equal to dw. So dw is just minus 50 kilojoule. So change in internal energy also 50 kilojoule. Okay, so from this we can find out because it is mcv t2 minus t1. So we know cv. From this we can find out cv. Okay, and cv is not given for this ideal gas. Cv is not given. So from this we can find out cv. Okay, so cv we can find that is 661 joule per kilogram per degree Kelvin. Now we know that cp is equal to, sorry, r is equal to cp minus cv. So using this we can, r is given as, r is not given. R we have calculated. Okay, that is r 237.9. Okay, now we can calculate uh, cp. Okay, so this is cp. Okay, now as we can see that here the pressure is 300 kP and pressure here is 300 kP. So it is a constant pressure process also. Okay. So in constant pressure process, the heat supplied is your MCP dt. Okay, by T. You can write this or entropy change in this MCP dt by T. Okay, so it is the your entropy change is 160.3 joule per Kelvin. In the above process, the process pressure equation by using the heat and condition process between two is reversible with constant and process. It is below. For constant pressure process, we have this. Okay, the process is adiabatic and the process is uh, constant pressure process. Okay, so there will be a change in entropy. Okay, so that will be given by MCPDT by T. Okay, for answer is 160.3 joule per Kelvin. Okay, let us do it again. Now we have an ideal gas that is its mass is 0.5 kg, pressure is 300 kPa, and temperature 80 degrees Celsius. Volume is okay. Now pressure, temperature, and volume are given, and mass is also given, so we can calculate R. Okay. Now the final conditions are 300 kPa and 0.2. Okay. So final conditions are this only pressure and volume are given. Okay. So we can find out temperature from this T1, V1, T1, and is equal to P2, P2, so P2 is equal to 504.285 Kelvin. Okay. Now the process is the gas undergoes an adiabatic process. Okay. So if the process is adiabatic, then dq is zero. So dq is zero, and so dw plus du. Okay. So u2 minus u1 we can find out, that is 50 kilojoule. Now from u2 minus u1 we can find out Cv using mCv T2 minus T1 is equal to 50 kilojoule. So Cv comes down as 661 joule per kilogram per Kelvin, and R is your C2 minus Cv. R we have calculated, Cv we have calculated, so we can find out C2. Okay. Now as we can see that the pressure is constant 300 kPa, 300 kPa. So we can use this as entropy. Ds is equal to dq by T. So one question arises that here we have taken dq as 0. Okay, but here we are taking dq as mcp dt. Okay, this is according to definition of entropy. The definition of entropy is uh, that dq stands for reversible process. Okay, here the process is not reversible. Okay, here the process is adiabatic, but it is not reversible. So here the dq is 0, but here the dq we are taking is according to reversible process, and according to reversible process in constant pressure process, dq is your mcp dt. Okay, so that's why the difference dq here dq is 0, and here dq is your MCPDT. Okay, so now it is easy to understand. So MCPDT is by T is your this your PS. Okay, so it is 160.3 joule per kilogram per Kelvin. Okay, next the van der Waals equation of the state is given P plus A by V square V minus D RUT, where P is in bar, V in meter cube per kilomole, and T is in Kelvin. For air, constant A and B are 1.368 bar meter square per kilomole square and 0.0367 meter cube per kilomole respectively. Air is contained in a system at 160 Kelvin and zero point zero 0.08 meter cube per kilomole. If P1 is the pressure, calculator using ideal gas equation of state, and P2 is the pressure, calculator using van der Waals equation of the state, then P1 by P2 is equal to A 1.78, B 1.52, C 1.28, D 1. So this is simple question. And first of all, using ideal classification, PV is equal to NRUT. Here N is your take and 1 mole. Okay, RU as 8.314 and P is your 160 Kelvin and B is your B is your B is 0.08. Okay, 0.08 meter cube take and 1. Okay, so pressure is 166.82 bar. Okay, and here uh, only difference is A and B. Okay, take A as given value A 1.368 and this 0.0361. So this is a calculated question. You have to make calculation. You can say this calculated question. All the formulas are known, so we can find out T2. Then we can find out T1 by T2. Okay. Next, the value of specific volume of H2O at 100 degrees Celsius for saturated liquid and saturated vapor are 0.001044 meter cube per kilogram and 1.673 meter cube per kilogram respectively. The slope of the saturation pressure versus temperature curve is dP by dt. Saturation is 3570 Pascal per Kelvin. The change in the enthalpy in kilojoules between the two saturation states is so from the classical Capricorn equation dP by dt saturated L by T V double dash minus V dash. Okay. Here L is your this sorry, here we have to convert with L. Okay, and dP by dt is your 3570. Okay, 3570. Okay, and T is your 100 instances or 100 plus 250 and V double dash minus V dash V double dash 1.673 minus 0.001044. Okay, so all the data are again given. You have to learn this formula. Okay, so L is there 26393 joules per kilogram or 2226.393 kilojoules per kilogram. Okay. Or is there to saturation state. Okay. Next, in a steam power plant, steam is first expanded isentropically in a turbine from an initial condition of 100 bar and 500 degrees Celsius to a pressure of 40 bar. Then the steam is reheated up to 500 degrees Celsius at constant pressure. The steam is then expanded isentropically. The steam is then expanded isentropically in another turbine up to a condenser pressure of 0.01 bar for steam at 100 bar 500 degrees Celsius H 3373.7 kilojoule per kilogram S 6.5966 kilojoule per kilogram per degree Kelvin at 10 bar 500 degrees Celsius H is equal to 3445.3 kilojoule per kilogram S 7.0901 kilojoule per kilogram per degree Kelvin and at 0.01 bar HF 29.3 kilojoule per kilogram Hg 2514.2 kilojoule per kilogram SF 0.1059 kilojoule per kilogram per degree Kelvin SG 8.975 kilojoule per kilogram. The digest fraction at the condenser inlet up to two decimal places. The reheat cycle is shown in figure. So this is the figure given. Okay. Oh no, this is not figure, this is solution. Okay, the reheat cycle is shown in figure. So here S3 should be equal to S4. Okay, because this is the condenser entry. Okay, this is the turbine entry or this is the turbine exit dot condenser entry. So S3 should be equal to S4. Now S3 is your according to um, according to 10 bar, that is 7.0901. Okay, and S4 is let actually the instruction, then S4 will be according to SF plus X, SF, SG minus SF. Okay, so this is 0.1059 plus X, 8.975 minus 0.1059. So from this you can find out X is your 0.78. Next, air contains by volume 79% N2, molecular weight 28 kilogram per kilomole, 20% O2, molecular weight 32 kilogram per kilomole. A stream of air flows at 32 degrees Celsius, 1 bar, at a rate of 2 meter cube per second, and is mixed with another stream of O2 flowing at 0.4 kilogram per second. The molecular weight of the mixture. Now, the air is containing 78% of N2 and 21% of O2. Okay. So we can calculate the molecular weight of air by multiplying 79.79 into 28 with 28 and 0.21 with 32. Okay, so it is 28.84. Okay, molecular weight of air. Okay, so Ru is so R air is Ru by this molecular weight. Okay, Ru is nothing but 83.14. Okay, so R air is your 0.288. Okay, so molecular weight of the mixture you have to find out. Okay, now we have R air, we have molecular weight of the mixture you have to find. Now, stream of air flows at and is mixed with another stream of O2. Okay, now the R of sorry, mass of air we can find out where pressure of the air is where pressure is 1 bar and volume flow rate 2 and temperature 32 R we know, so we can find out mass. Okay, by using PV RT. Okay, so this is the mass of the air. Okay, in terms of mole per second, now we have calculated that molecular weight. So this in mole per second. Okay, now the molecular weight of O2. So sorry, 0.4. So molecular weight of O2. So number of moles of O2 is 0.4 divided molecular weight of O2. Okay, molecular weight of O2 is 32. Okay, 0.4 by O2. So that is number of moles doing per second. Okay, and percent of now 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 these two are mixed. Okay, now total number of moles are this 0.0784 and plus 0.0125. Okay, so percentage volume of the or percentage number of moles are this. Okay, so this is 0.8631. Okay, so percentage volume. So it is so this is percentage volume of air and 1 minus this is percentage mole, so percentage volume of O2. Okay, now from this, now we have the percentage of this air and percentage of this O2 in terms of volume. Okay, now we can calculate the molecular weight of the mixture. So taking percentage of this, there is 0.86 air, molecular weight of air is 28.84, and taking percentage of O2, this by multiplying it by molecular weight. So this is the molecular weight of the mixture. You have to find out this molecular weight of mixture. So let us repeat. First of all, find the molecular weight of air. Okay, by multiplying the nitrogen percentage with nitrogen molecular weight and oxygen percentage and oxygen molecular weight. Okay, so this is molecular weight of air. So after finding out molecular weight, find out R here. Okay, RU by this. Okay, so this is R of air. Okay, and using this P is equal to MRT, we have P, we have V, we have R, we have T. Okay, so we have your M. We can have your M. Okay. Now this is the mass of air in terms of kilogram per second. Okay, and we know the molecular weight. So the moles of the air per second is 0.078.84. Okay, and moles of O2 is as zero point 0.4 kg of O2 is flowing. So moles of O2 is your zero point 0.4 by 32. Okay, it is 0.0125 moles per second. Okay, now we can calculate the percentages. Okay, so percentage or friction or volume percentage. Okay, so this is the air quantity and total is the mixture quantity. Okay, so taking air quantity, air moles divided by total moles is your percentage of air and subtracting it from 1 will have percentage of O2. Now if we have percentage multiply with their molecular weight. Okay, and we have molecular weight of the mixture. Okay. Next, moist air and enters a duct at a rate of 3 kilograms per second at 10 degrees Celsius, 80% relative humidity. The air is heated as it flows through a duct and exits at 30 degrees Celsius. No moisture is added or removed, and pressure of air in the duct is constant at 1 bar. The saturation vapor pressure Pg of H2O at 100 degrees Celsius is 0.01228 bar. Specific enthalpy value of dry air at inlet and outlet of the duct are respectively 283.1 kilojoules per kilogram and 303.2 kilojoules per kilogram. The corresponding specific enthalpy value water vapor are 2519.8 kilojoules per kilogram, 255 2556.3 kilojoules per kilogram. For steady operation, the amount of heat added in the moist air in kilowatt is given that the relative humidity is 80%. Okay, so relative humidity is 5 dB by Ts. Okay, now pi is your 0.8. Okay, and Ps is your saturation pressure is your 0.00 0.01228. Okay, so we can calculate PV. So PV is your this. Now from this we can calculate specific humidity. Okay, uh, using this 0.622 PV by PT minus PV. Okay, now omega is nothing but mass of water vapor divided by mass of dry air. So mass of dry water vapor divided by mass of dry air. Okay, so total mass is your total mass is total mass is mass of total mass is 3 kg. Sorry, total mass is your 3 kg per second. Okay, m is your 3 kg. Okay, now putting m is equal to 3 kg, we can find out mw or Then we can find out mass of dry air. Okay, so this is mass of dry air. Okay, now heat added to dry air as well as to water vapor. Okay, for the water vapor there will be change enthalpy. Okay, change in picture, dry air at inlet. The change in enthalpy of the dry air is 303 minus 223, okay, per kg, and change in enthalpy of the water vapor is this. Okay, so from this now you have to calculate the heat adder. Okay, heat adder will be summation of these two. Okay, so this is dry air, change in enthalpy of dry air. This is moist air, sorry, moisture or water vapor, and change in enthalpy of this. Okay, change in enthalpy of this water vapor. So this comes out as 60.617 kilowatt. So answer is yes. Let us do it again. Okay, we have given that building voltage 80%, that is PV by PS is your quantity. Okay, so PS is given as saturation pressure is given as 0.0128 bar. Okay, so PS is your, so PV is your this quantity. Okay, so after knowing PV, we can use this to get omega. Omega is nothing but mw by m dry air. M dry air, m minus mw. M is your 3 kg. Okay, so you can find out mw. So mw, after finding out mw, you can find out m minus mw also. That is m dry air. Now the change in enthalpy of dry air and change in enthalpy of specific enthalpy of water vapor, change in specific enthalpy of dry air is given. Okay, so that is the heater. Okay, okay, that's all. Thank you very much.